All right, so today we're going over the prose essay, and I'm introducing a strategy which is, it seems silly, but I really want you guys to embrace the visualization. And when you read this, think about what it would look like as a film or as a stage piece. How do you see this playing out in your head? Because part of what the prose essay is looking for are things such as insights and your ability to work chronologically through the passage and draw up some ideas or conclusions or just really thoughtful AP/college level observations. So I'm going to read this passage. Before I even started to read, I kind of skimmed through just to kind of see what I would notice because I really want to visualize, but I do think I need to make some predictions. I obviously can't read this passage twice and do like detailed, thorough annotations because there's not enough time, but I can kind of breeze through it. And obviously, I'm going to read the little descriptor up at the top. The following passage is an excerpt from Lady Windermere's Fan, a play by Oscar Wilde produced in 1892. Read the passage carefully. Then write a well-organized essay in which you analyze how the playwright reveals the values of the character and the nature of their society. So first is anything that's produced during this time period, I feel like you're going to see snobbery. You probably saw that in Pride and Prejudice. You probably remember it from Ligate and Rosie's passage, and then also from the Tom Jones passage. People during this time period were snooty. There was a lot of class differences. So I also think it's interesting. She's got a fan. So as I'm reading this, I notice that this person, the Duchess, seems to have quite a bit of dialogue. There is a man who's showing up, Lord Darlington, which is kind of an interesting name. And then obviously you have Windermere, which is the woman. That is also featured in the title. I'm just going to quickly skim this first part. And I feel like she's going to be flirty, especially with this line. So I'm going to visualize her as very flirty. I think he's probably going to flirt back, maybe. And then we'll have to see where it kind of takes us. Shaking hands. Dear Margaret, I'm so pleased to see you. You remember Agatha, don't you? How do you do, Lord Darlington? I won't let you know my daughter. You are far too wicked. Don't say that, Duchess. As a wicked man, I'm a complete failure, while there are lots of people who say I've never really done anything wrong in the whole course of my life. Of course, they only say that behind my back. Isn't he dreadful, Agatha? This is Lord Darlington. Mind you, don't believe a word he says. No, no, tea. Thank you, dear. Sits on the sofa. We just had tea at Lady Markby's. Such a bad tea, too. It was quite undrinkable. I wasn't at all surprised. Her own son-in-law supplies it. Agatha is looking forward so much to your ball tonight, dear Margaret. So I'm going to pause. I'm feeling visualization. I feel like she's going to read snobby. I feel like she's going to be like picking around whatever's near her, like she's picking at the tea. I think he also tends to give me, he's definitely flirty. I can't quite read him, but let's see what Lady W says. Seated. Oh, you mustn't think it's going to be a ball, Duchess. It's only a dance in honor of my birthday. A small and early. Very small, very early, and very select, Duchess. Standing. Of course it's going to be select. But we know that, dear Margaret, about your house. It's really one of those few houses in London where I can take Agatha, and where I feel perfectly secure about dear Berwick. I don't know what society's coming to. The most dreadful people seem to go everywhere. They certainly come to my parties. The men get quite furious if one doesn't ask them. Really, someone should make a stand against it. I will, Duchess. I will have no one in my house about whom there is any scandal. Oh, don't say that, Lady Windermere. I should never be admitted. Sitting. Oh, men don't matter. With women it's different. We're good. Some of us are, at least. But we're positively getting elbowed into the corner. Our husbands would really forget our existence if we didn't nag them from time to time, just to remind them that we have a perfect legal right to do so. It's a curious thing, Duchess, about the game of marriage, a game, by the way, which is going out of fashion. The wives hold all the honors and invariably lose the odd trick. The odd trick? Is that the husband, Lord Darlington? It would be a rather good name for the modern husband. Dear Lord Darlington, how thoroughly deprived you are! Lord Darlington is trivial. Oh, don't say that, Lady Wormere. Why do you talk so trivially about life, then? Because I think that life is far too important a thing ever to talk seriously about it. What does he mean? Do as a concession to my poor wits, Lord Darlington. Just explain to me what you really mean. I think I better not, Duchess. Nowadays, to be intelligible is to be found out. Goodbye. He shakes hands with the Duchess, not the lady. And now, Lady Wormere, goodbye. I may come tonight, may I? Do let me come. Yes, certainly. But you are not to say foolish, insincere things to people. Lord Darlington, smiling. Ah, you are beginning to reform me. It's a dangerous thing to reform anyone, Lady Windermere. Bows and exits. So I will admit I've read this once through a little bit, so I didn't sound like a complete idiot in front of you guys. But I will also say that there was, like, I kind of envisioned where I thought or could see this going. But the whole purpose of this is to visualize. Definitely visualize or kind of imagine what this is doing or how it's working. And then I would obviously be annotating if I could. But the power of visualization is really important. This one especially, it is a play. So you guys have done 2 prose practices. You've done one as just a brainstorm, and then this one that you did a week ago for Tom Jones was a prose that you did in class. This is also prose, though, and it's a play, though. And I would argue that if you go to this document here, well, it's not a document, it's a web page, and you were to look back at some of these questions, they have not done a play in a while. So just something to consider.